Hello and a very warm welcome to the brand new edition of Parliament This Week, your weekly roundup of all important developments in Parliament. I'm Priti Mishra, and now let's begin the show. So President of India, Ramnath Kovind, has prorogued the Rajya Sabha on September 30th. This marks the end of the 252nd session of Rajya Sabha. Lok Sabha, which commenced its session on 14th of September 2020, has also been prorogued by President of India. The Rajya Sabha, which commenced its 252nd session on 14 September 2020 and adjourned sine die on 23rd of September 2020, has been prorogued by President on the 30th of September 2020. In the 10 sittings, a total of 25 bills were passed and 6 bills were introduced. The productivity of the House during the monsoon session has been 100.47%. It was the second shortest monsoon session of the House and third shortest of all sessions.
During the 10 sittings, total of 25 bills have been passed and 6 bills have been introduced. The productivity of the House during this session has been 100.47% as against the scheduled available time of 38 hours and 30 minutes. The actual functional time of the House has been 38 hours and 41 minutes. While 3 hours and 15 minutes time of the House has been lost unfortunately due to disruptions, the House sat for an extra time of 3 hours and 26 minutes. I am happy to inform you that the new normal of high productivity witnessed during the last 3 sessions has continued during this session as well. As a result, the overall productivity of the last 4 sessions come to a praiseworthy 96.13%.
Since the Rajya Sabha is a continuous body, not subject to dissolution, the sessions, as also the sittings, are numbered consecutively and continuously since its inception. A session of the Rajya Sabha commences on the date and time mentioned in the summoning order of the President and ends with the day on which he prorogues the House. Prorogation means the end of a session. The session of the House is terminated by an order called the Prorogation Order made by the President under Article 85(2) of the Constitution. The period between the prorogation of the House and its reassembly in a new session is termed as intersession period. Priti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV. And President Ramnath Kovind on Sunday gave his assent to all the 3 farm bills passed in the monsoon session of Parliament. The 3 bills: the Farmers Produce, Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Bill 2020, the Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Service Bill 2020, and the Essential Commodities Amendment Bill 2020 have now become acts. President Ramnath Kovind on Sunday gave his assent for the 3 bills passed by Parliament. A Gazette notification has been issued in this regard. The Farmers Produce, Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Act 2020 seeks to give freedom to farmers to sell their produce outside the notified APMC market yards or mandis. The government says this is aimed at facilitating remunerative prices through competitive alternative trading channels. The Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement of Price Assurance and Farm Services Act 2020 seeks to give farmers the right to enter into a contract with agri-business firms, processors, wholesalers, exporters or large retailers for the sale of future farming produce at a pre-agreed price. And the Essential Commodities Act 2020 seeks to remove commodities like cereals, pulses, oilseeds, onion and potato from the list of essential commodities and will do away with the imposition of stock holding limits. Calling them as historic reforms in the agri sector, the centre has said it would help the country's farmers proceed into the 21st century, helping them get better price for produce.
लेकिन खेती के क्षेत्र में जब हम विचार करते हैं तो एकांगी विचार होगा तो कभी भी न तो किसान का भला होगा और न खेती मुनाफे में आएगी। किसानों की आमदनी दोगुनी हो उसके लिए सिर्फ ये ही बिल कारगर नहीं है। किसानों की आमदनी दोगुनी करने के लिए सिलसिलेवार बहुत सारे प्रयास 6 सालों में किए गए। जब लोकसभा में चर्चा हो रही थी तो इस प्रकार की शंका कुछ मित्रों ने व्यक्त की। उस समय भी मैंने कहा था और माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने भी देश को आश्वस्त किया है कि न्यूनतम समर्थन मूल्य का इस विधेयक से कोई भी लेना देना नहीं है। न्यूनतम समर्थन मूल्य पर खरीद हो रही थी और आने वाले कल में भी खरीद होती रहेगी। इसमें किसी को शंका करने की आवश्यकता नहीं है।
These bills were passed in the monsoon session of Parliament. Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV. And moving on now, the Jammu and Kashmir Official Languages Act 2020 that lists the languages to be used for official purposes in the UT of Jammu and Kashmir and for matters connected therewith has received the assent of President Ramnath Kovind and has been notified by the Centre.
As per the Centre's notification appearing in the official gazette, the bill may be called the Jammu and Kashmir Official Languages Act of 2020, according to which Kashmiri, Dogri, Urdu, Hindi and English will be the languages used for all or any official purpose in the Union Territory. The Act further provides that business in the Legislative Assembly of the Union Territory will be transacted in the official language or languages. It further provides that institutional mechanisms shall make special efforts for the promotion and development of Gojri, Pahari and Punjabi languages. During the discussion in the Rajya Sabha, Union Minister of State for Home Affairs G. Kishan Reddy said that the bill gives importance to those 70% people who speak Kashmiri and Dogri in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. He stressed that it was a demand of the people of Jammu and Kashmir that the languages they speak should be official languages.
जम्मू कश्मीर में 5 आधिकारिक भाषाओं के अतिरिक्त अन्य क्षेत्रीय भाषाओं को विकास करने के लिए भारतीय भाषाओं को केंद्रीय संस्थान से जानकारी प्राप्त हुआ है। प्राप्त के जानकारी के आधार पर जम्मू कश्मीर में आधिकारिक भाषाओं को साथ साथ अन्य क्षेत्रीय भाषाओं को भी बढ़ावा देना तथा उनके विकास के लिए वर्तमान संस्थागत ढांचे जैसे जम्मू कश्मीर अकादमी और कल्चर एंड लैंग्वेजेस मजबूत करने के लिए प्रावधान इस प्रस्ताव में पहली बार लाए हैं।
According to the 2011 census, 53.26% people of Jammu and Kashmir speak Kashmiri, 20.64% speak Dogri and 0.16% people speak Urdu. Only English and Urdu were official languages in the former state of Jammu and Kashmir, which was bifurcated on the 5th of August 2019, with Ladakh becoming a separate union territory. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha Television.
And the Epidemic Diseases Act 2020 has received the assent of President of India and has come into force. The legislation intends to make sure that there is an attitude of zero tolerance towards violence against people working in the healthcare sector. The service personnel who will be protected under the new legislation include public and clinical healthcare service providers such as doctors, nurses, paramedical workers and community health workers and any other person empowered under the Act to take measures to prevent the outbreak of disease or spread thereof. Here's a detailed report.
The Epidemic Diseases Bill 2020 has received the assent of the President of India and has come into force. During the passage of the bill in the upper house, the Health and Family Welfare Minister said that many healthcare workers, including doctors and paramedics, were insulted in some form or the other due to stigma attached to COVID-19. He asserted that the centre swung into action and found that there was a need for a law, a prohibitory mechanism against such incidents.
जो चार्जेस चाहे वो लेबॉर्ट्रीज़ के हो दूसरी चीज़ों के हो उनको सबको रेशनल करने के लिए जो है रेशनलाइज करने के लिए स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स को भी सब प्रकार के सपोर्ट सिस्टम्स दिए हैं। कई स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स ने उसके बारे में पॉजिटिव काम भी किया है। कई लोगों ने आयुष्मान भारत और CGHS के रेट्स के साथ अपने रेट्स को सिंक्रोनाइज किया है। जो ड्रग्स की वैक्सीन्स दूसरी जो PPEs और उन चीज़ों के जो ओवर चार्जिंग के बारे में ब्लैक मार्केटिंग के बारे में किया गया है, तो समय समय पर ये बताया गया है कि किस प्रकार से ड्रग कंट्रोलर ने स्टेट के ड्रग कंट्रोलर्स के साथ मिलकर इस विषय पर कितनी सख्ती से एक्शंस लेने के लिए इंस्ट्रक्शंस किए हैं।
The Act defines healthcare service personnel as persons who are at risk of contracting the epidemic disease while carrying out duties related to the epidemic. It further makes any crime against health professionals a cognizable and non-bailable offence. Offenders can also be fined anywhere between 50,000 to 2 lakh rupees. They could also face a prison term ranging between 3 months to 5 years. If an act of violence against a healthcare service personnel causes grievous harm, the offender will be punished with imprisonment between 6 months and 7 years and a fine between 1 lakh rupees and 5 lakh rupees. In the case of damage of loss of property, the compensation payable to the victim will be twice the amount of the fair market value of the damaged or lost property as determined by the court. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha Television.
And all 24 department-related parliamentary standing committees have been reconstituted by Chairman of Rajya Sabha, M. Venkaiah Naidu, and Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla. The parliamentary standing committees relate to ministries or departments. Here's a detailed report.
Department-related parliamentary standing committees have been reconstituted with effect from 13 September 2020. V. Vijay Sai Reddy has been appointed as the chairman of the Committee on Commerce. Ram Gopal Yadav is the chairman of the Committee on Health and Family Welfare. Anand Sharma has been appointed as the chairman of the Committee on Home Affairs. Dr. Vinay Sahasrabudhe has been appointed as the chairman of the Committee on Human Resource Development. Dr. K. Keshav Rao has been appointed as the chairman of the Committee on Industry. Bhupendra Yadav is the chairman of the Committee on Personnel, Public Grievances, Law and Justice. Jairam Ramesh has been made the chairman of the Committee on Science and Technology, Environment, Forests and Climate Change. T.G. Venkatesh is the chairman of the Committee on Transport, Tourism and Culture. P.C. Gadigodar has been appointed as the chairman of the Committee on Agriculture. K. Karimuri has been appointed as the chairperson of the Committee on Chemicals and Fertilizers. Rakesh Singh has been appointed as the chairman of the Committee on Coal and Steel. Jual Oram has been appointed as the chairman of the Committee on Defence. Rajiv Ranjan Singh has been appointed as the chairman of the Committee on Energy. P.P. Chaudhary has been appointed as the chairman of the Committee on External Affairs. Jayant Sinha has been appointed chairman of the Committee on Finance. Sudeep Bandopadhyay has been appointed as the chairman of the Committee on Food, Consumer Affairs and Public Distribution. Dr. Shashi Tharoor has been appointed chairman of the Committee on Information and Technology. Bhartrihari Mehtab has been appointed as the chairman of the Committee on Labour. Ramesh Bidhuri has been appointed as the chairman of the Committee on Petroleum and Natural Gas. Radha Mohan Singh has been appointed chairman of the Committee on Railways. Pratap Rao Jadhav has been appointed chairman of the Committee on Rural Development. Rama Devi as the chairperson of the Committee on Social Justice and Empowerment. Jagdambika Pal has been appointed as the chairman of the Committee on Urban Development. And Dr. Sanjay Jaiswal as the chairman of the Committee on Water Resources. Constituted under Rule 268, each standing committee has not more than 31 members. 10 members are nominated by the chairman from amongst the members of the Rajya Sabha and 21 members nominated by the Speaker from the lower house. Each standing committee has the function to consider the demands for grants of the related ministries or departments. The committees will examine bills pertaining to the related ministries and departments, refer to the committee by the chairman or the speaker and report thereon. The panels will consider the annual reports of the ministries or departments and report thereon and will consider national basic long-term policy documents presented to the houses if referred to the committee by the chairman or the speaker. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu has nominated CPM's Rajya Sabha MP Elma Ram Kareem as a member of the General Purposes Committee with effect from September 28, 2020.
The General Purposes Committee consists of the chairman, the deputy chairman, members of the panel of vice chairman, chairman of standing parliamentary committees of Rajya Sabha, leaders of recognized parties and groups in Rajya Sabha, and such other members as may be nominated by the chairman. The chairman of the upper house is the ex officio chairman of the committee. The function of the committee is to consider and advise on such matters concerning the affairs of the house as may be referred to it by the chairman from time to time. The committee may, if it thinks fit, make a special report on any matter that arises or comes to light in the course of its work which it may consider necessary to bring to the notice of the chairman or the house, notwithstanding that such matter is not directly connected with or does not fall within or is not incidental to its terms of reference.
And moving on now, Rajya Sabha members Pradeep Tamta, Shamsher Singh Dullo and L. Hanumantaya have been elected to the Committee on the Welfare of Scheduled Castes and Scheduled Tribes.
The committee is headed by BJP's Lok Sabha MP Kirit Premji Bhai Solanki. The committee examines the measures taken by the union government to secure due representation of the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes in services and posts under its control. It reports on the working of the welfare programs for the scheduled castes and the scheduled tribes in the union territories. The term of office of members of the committee shall not exceed 1 year.
Well, that's all I had for you in this edition of Parliament this week. Thanks for watching and stay tuned to Rajya Sabha Television.